What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Manufactured Opinion, and welcome back to my Dragon Dogma playthrough / guide. And today I am bringing you a video of my Dragon build along with the offline version fight. And the reason why I'm fighting the offline version and not the online version is for pure entertainment purposes only. But I will get into that a little bit later as I'm going through my stats right here. This is actually done at nighttime with no pawns in my party, and the reasons for that will be made clear in a second as I go through my augments, and I might as well list them out for you here right now. I have Clout, which is a Vocation level 9 Warriors augment. I have Vehemence, which is a Vocation level 8 Fighters augment. And I have 4 Assassin augments, Vocation levels 2, 3, 4, and 9, Sanguinity, Bloodlust, Autonomy, and Entrancement. 3 of those are active during the nighttime. Autonomy is active when there are no pawns in your party, when you're flying solo, and they all boost strength and magic, so they're definitely awesome to have. So, you are going to need to have your Warrior Vocation to level 9, your Fighter Vocation to level 8, and your Assassin Vocation to level 9. Now, I know that that's a pain in the ass. I know from first-hand experience that getting all of that to level 9 is, like I said, a pain in the ass. So I will be making a video on how to maximize your discipline points, how to get, what experience to get, what mobs to fight. There's actually a great place in Grand Soren and Noble's Quarters to rank up the fastest. What pawns to bring during your ranking up, all that kind of wonderful stuff so you don't drive yourself batshit crazy. So a link to that will be in the description or in an annotation. I just have to get all the clips together and record my lovely voice over said clips. So like I said, that'll be in the description or in an annotation in the near future. So anyways, those augments that I suggested, those aren't must-needed 100% you have to have. Those are just what I recommend to make both the online and the offline versions a hell of a lot easier. The same with my build. I was just showing you my strength build and all of my skills. You don't have to be a Mystic Knight. But there is a few classes that unfortunately this fight forces you into, which I never like to see in an RPG, but that is the case with this fight. Fighter and Warrior, definitely not going to want to bring those here, as well as Mages. I will start with Fighter and Warrior. There are 2 weak points on the wings. Fighter and Warriors cannot reach those weak points. And Mages, in my personal opinion, are way too squishy for this fight. That's why I never roll one when I come in here. But that is just my personal opinion. Other notes on Warriors and Fighters, you can actually bring them in here, but you're going to have to rely on your pawns to take out the wings for you. I never had that much trust in my pawns. I actually kicked Miss Gogurt off a cliff so I could come in here by myself. So you know that I do not have a lot of trust in my pawns. I never trust them, especially when it comes to something as specific as that, hitting wings, and you may want to hit them at certain points in time, which just makes it that much more difficult. They'll probably be doing something completely different from what you want them to do, so it's better off to just trust yourself. Best classes, in my opinion, for this fight are Mystic Knight and anything that uses a bow, so we're talking Ranger, Assassin, Magic Archer. My personal opinion, Assassin is by far the best class for this fight. Mystic Knight would actually be useless if it wasn't for Great Cannon. But like I said, Assassin, the fact you can use a bow, some awesome daggers, and Maker's Finger really is what makes this fight. I saved those for the online version, obviously. But fivefold flurry, all that wonderful stuff. Just makes the Assassin so much better for this fight. You saw that I was using 4 Assassin augments, so you know that the Assassin was built for this fight. Like I said, if you're rolling Mystic Knight like me, Great Cannon is definitely a must. And I know that a lot of you won't be in here solo your first time. I also know that a lot of you have already done this fight multiple times, but I'll get into that a little bit later. I know you won't be coming in here solo your first time. You won't be outputting this much damage, so you're obviously going to have pawns with you. So what I recommend that you bring with you is at least one mage that has Holy Affinity, because the Dragon resists all kind of elements except Holy. Holy does awesome amounts of damage to this dragon, so definitely bring a mage with Holy Affinity. Also a holy weapon if you have it. I actually have the Ascalon, which is a holy weapon that drops off the offline version. Actually, both versions. But once you kill it a couple times, get some of these weapons, you'll have no problem just outputting massive amounts of damage. So that's that. I guess I can get into some strategies here, since I've talked about all the classes and whatnot. As you saw at the beginning, I usually like going from back to front when I'm fighting the Dragon. Mostly because that's the way he lands in front of me when I start the fight, so I just kind of take it from there. I will mention a couple things. I guess I'll start with his attacks. his attacks are really easy to see coming. He has a lot of big, massive build-up attacks, some fires shouting and spewing and wing flapping and he flailing all over the place. A lot of them you can see coming. There's some where he'll throw his arm to the left or the right, and it's really hard to dodge. You will get hit by it, but it doesn't do too much damage. He likes to swing his tail around. He has some spells. He has a blizzard spell. He has a meteor spell, and he actually has a spell which I compare it to the Ruinous Sigil on the Mystic Knight. It kind of knocks you around, does massive amounts of damage to you, and you fall all over the place. So essentially, this spell like brings you back down to earth. So if you're on top of him and he decides to cast a spell below him, you get slammed into the ground. You'll go through him and get slammed into the ground. It makes no sense physics-wise, and it's actually very annoying because then you get to climb all the way back on top of him. But that's the way that spell is. Another couple of things I'd like to mention regarding his attacks is that you should be careful on his front legs, which is why I always like starting from the back. It's not just because the fight starts at the back. It's one of the reasons why I like starting at the back. It's a lot easier for him to hit you when you're on those front legs. So I just like conserving my health potions till the end of the fight, not using them all at the beginning of the fight. So that's the reason for that. Also, when you're attacking under his jaw, try not to be sitting right on his face, because sit on my face. One fire attack out of his mouth and you're toast. I've actually done that a couple times, just not paying attention. I'm just sitting right on his mouth, slashing away at his face, and he's just like, alright, I'm going to breathe fire on you, and he absolutely destroys me. So that's that. One more thing I'd like to mention is that if he's out in the open, I highly recommend that you attack his neck and his tail first, mostly because if he backs up into a wall or into a cliff, you automatically fall off, and I actually think I saw it happen to me a couple minutes ago there. So when he's out in the open in the middle, definitely go for his tail and his neck first for that exact reason. So that's that. I want to talk about health potions or health items, curatives for a second here. I usually bring 20 potent green washes no matter what version I'm fighting, online or offline. And depending on what version I'm fighting, I like to bring a certain amount of large mushrooms for stamina. You can also bring Harspud juices if that's your kind of style, but those cost more and they weigh more, so I try to bring larger mushrooms instead. I mean, I have 15 million gold. I guess cost shouldn't really be a problem by now, but I'm a cheap bastard. What can I say? Right. If I'm fighting the online version and I know that I'm going to be, say, hanging on its neck most of the fight, I will bring more large mushrooms, but because you'll lose more stamina as he shakes around when you're on his neck than, say, if you're on his back paw. So I'll bring more mushrooms in that case. If I'm fighting the offline version, I usually just bring 30. So I'd say bring 40 or 45 if you're going to the online version, or as many as you can bring, staying very light to lightweight, because that's another huge factor in this fight, making sure that you're lightweight so you can keep up your stamina and hang on to him as long as possible, stay out of the range of all of those big sweeping attacks. I also would recommend bringing a couple wake stones with you just in case you happen to die, which can happen easily. You just get caught off guard. He does one of his flame attacks when you're trying to pick up a pawn. And that's actually a problem with this fight, as like a lot of other fights, is trying to manage your pawn, trying to crowd control your pawns while you're trying to fight the boss at the same time can get very annoying, which is why I recommend those augments, just to make the fight that much easier for you. Like I said, I know it's going to take a while for you to get those augments. I know you want to come in and fight this thing right away, which is awesome. That's exactly how I was. So that's that. I think I've touched upon everything. Oh, just destroying him with the Great Cannon right there. Great skill for the Mystic Knights out there. Definitely going to want to utilize that. So I think I've touched on everything about that. I guess I just wanted to touch on one other thing regarding this video in general. A lot of you have been requesting this video, recommending that I do an Dragon video for quite some time. And I was going to do it, but then I realized that I really need to be able to beat the offline version in one go before I can really know what I'm talking about and not half-ass a video for you guys. Because I'm going to be completely honest, I see plenty of half-assed videos out there, and it's just a lot of information calling stuff drops that aren't drops. It's just I don't want to half-ass a video. That's not what I'm about. I want to give you quality. So that's why there's been a time lapse on that. I wanted to make sure that I knew everything that I needed to know, how to make this fight as easy as possible for you guys, because it can get very frustrating. I also wanted to make a note about the online version. The online version, if you don't know, when you die, the Dragon regenerates health. So I recommend you definitely want to be able to beat the offline version in one go before you go fight the online version. I know it takes some time, but it's definitely going to be worth it. You'll get that much better drops. You won't die as much. You'll make everybody happier. And it will just make the experience that much more fun for you and ipso facto everybody else. And that's what we want to do. It's a video game. Everybody wants to have fun. So, like I said, being able to kill the offline Dragon at least in one go is definitely recommended. I mean, I should probably take my own advice, because I went in a couple times before that when I realized that I really needed to be able to beat the offline version first. So that's that. I think I touched upon everything here, guys. I'll let you enjoy the rest of the video, the rest of the fight. I hope you were able to absorb all of that information. I know I threw a lot at you, but I guess I hope you're enjoying Dragon's Dogma, everybody, and I will be talking to you later. Bye-bye.